Hello.
Hello, BookTube.
How's it going? Going to do a little bit of a book haul. You have a guest here at the farm.
2 guests.
Well,
one is so exhausted that she can't.
One is...
She's wiped out.
She is... I don't know. And you read the old Oddie books, then they always have the, you'd have the rooster. And usually it was another rooster. It was a horrific thing. But now we have...
There's a big red rooster who was just adopted the house.
Rhode Island Red for the connoisseurs.
He's not pleased with Frida. She's not pleased with him. So every time we go out, it's an adventure.
I'm with Frida. Because I'm about done with this rooster that showed up on my front porch and decided that's where we do our business. That's where we do everything.
He's not bashful at all.
No.
He's completely assertive. This is his home.
His little claws on the bottom are about that big with big, giant... Yeah, he could do some damage.
But wasn't Frida good today?
She was wonderful.
We
drove
around.
everywhere. New Hampshire,
wonderful.
we went to A Books a Million and Newberry Comics. In Vermont, we went to Bridgewater Thrift Store, which is up near Woodstock, Vermont, for those of you looking at a map. And then we went to the foyer of the Woodstock Public Library, which always has wonderful book sales.
It's an ongoing library sale.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
They have great patrons.
We found
they
a
must, because all those
place-
come from patrons, right?
Right, and we found a part of it that we didn't even know was also book sale stuff, so that's for future reference. But I want to start with the Star Trek. I want to start with comic books to get them out of the way here a little bit. And last night we sat up, drank water.
We were drinking pure water. We are
Just water.
We do not sully the temple of our bodies.
That's right. So, last night we were drinking water, and we watched Amok Time. And what's the first thing you noticed about Netflix Amok Time? You knew about it, but what was it about?
The new ancillary special effects. I always forget. This was the Star Trek: The Original Series. For those of you who are not knowing what we mean by Amok Time, it's one of the 5 great episodes of the original series. And Star Trek, once the water had been flowing for a while, we decided that we would watch Star Trek. It's kind of a tradition.
It was past midnight.
Yeah, it was past midnight. And I said to Mark, well, that's great. You have all of those on DVD. And because he's 95, he said, oh, I'm not going all the way over there. So he just went to Netflix and found it. And we called up Amok Time, of course. There's absolutely no reason for that at all. He can quote it from memory, so can I. Watched it 80 million times, which doesn't matter. Only it felt new because the matte finishes were incredible.
It shows me, with that little tweak, was wonderful though, but how much better it is than so much we've seen. How hard it must be for some reason to do a great episode.
Yes,
of any series.
it does emphasize that, because once you take the original Star Trek and you add in what we consider modern special effects that are current in every other Star Trek, then suddenly the one defect it ever had is corrected, and everything else about it it emphasizes how much better everything else about it is than any other iteration of Star Trek.
Yeah. I agree.
Last time, what was it we watched? Was it The Ultimate Computer?
The Ultimate
and
Computer.
we picked that. I picked that specifically because I thought, well, won't there be neat special effects in that as well? And there were.
Yeah.
So, but Amok Time, I really wasn't thinking that I would see that, and it was astonishing. You get glimpses of Vulcan, the planet Vulcan, that...
If you have Netflix, go and just watch that one episode. Give it a shot if you've never watched Star Trek.
Yeah, if you've never watched Star Trek, there are a handful of Star
Pick
Trek
up the
episodes that
nuances.
will work on you, no matter what.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Amok Time is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
So what was that? Oh, that's... I don't say the name.
don't say the name.
Computer?
Yeah, computer.
Oh, how quaint.
I have one of those digital valets that is just sitting and listening to
Yes,
everything
they
they
say. It is the most bored digital valet most of the time in this house. I don't know, lately it's getting a little lively. The other thing, you introduced me to a new part of the world of Star Trek I knew nothing about.
Yeah, a fan movie. A lot of you, if you're Star Trek fans, you might have heard of Prelude to Axanar.
I knew nothing about it.
A beautiful, beautiful fan fiction movie. Most Star Trek fan productions on YouTube are tooth-rattlingly awful. Just
Like the old
awful.
fanzines.
Yeah, only without. Well, I know. I guess it's that way exactly because it's amateurish
why
in
wouldn't
every
it
way,
be?
and it's done
So
out of love.
wonderful.
But this thing looks like a movie. It looks like it looks better than the last 3 Star Trek movies, and it was fantastic.
Like a documentary.
Yeah, they do it like a Ken Byrne style documentary with regular talking heads narrating. And it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Prelude to Axanar. You Star Trek fans shouldn't miss it.
Axaner.
AR. Axanar. The name will be familiar to those of you who are really wonkish original series fans because
And those of you who can't spell, just rewind.
when Kirk is on trial in court-martial, we're told that he led a peace mission to Axanar, and it's one of his major decorations. Anywho.
It was beyond. He tells me these things. I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to watch it. It was great. It was really good. I loved how they did how they structured it. I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
The only problem with it, too short.
It ended, and he was not happy. It would have taken the whole movie, definitely. But as far as I know, the guy in charge of the whole production, it was his dream. He's the producer. He's the head writer.
These are not second-rate characters playing the roles.
No, the guy whose baby it is also plays one of the characters, Garth of Izar. And as far as I know, Paramount shut him down and have only just recently eased up
Another
on
missed
that.
opportunity. We haven't had any of those in the past. But we're talking about this because we went to the Newberry Comics. It's over in Lebanon, New Hampshire, West Lebanon. And it's the closest there is to us for a comic book place. It's a big chain. It's housed out of Boston, isn't it?
Originally started in Boston. Their original motto was "For a wicked good time."
Well, it is because it's on the bags. They've got the bags. They always say that. And people look askance at you when you carry it around. But this is one thing I picked up, and I did so. It's only $4.99. You take a shot. You take a look at it, see you're going to like it. Sometimes in these comic book series, you'll go 3-4 issues and say, okay, well, I did my bit. But you always have hope. I'm not a great, with exceptions, there are episodes in The Next Generation that are fantastic. Give me your top 2.
Brothers.
Okay.
The one where Picard goes home to his vineyard.
Which makes sense in this connection.
Deals with his brother, who's played by Jeremy Kemp, and in the same episode, while Picard is at home in France, talking with his brother and his brother's family, Worf's human parents are on the Enterprise, the human couple that raised him on Earth, and they got a famous icon of Broadway to play Worf's human father. They got the Fiddler on the Roof to play his human father. That's a wonderful episode. Absolutely wonderful.
Second one. Any?
Isn't there another one? There's another one. There's Brothers.
After 15 years, you think they'd have 2 that would be easy to say?
There are only a couple that are any good. There is another one, though. I'm not remembering it. At the moment.
That was a challenge, and I'm glad I asked it, and he didn't. Okay.
Is it Star Trek: The Next Generation? That's the one where Wesley Crusher is at the academy
If
and
it
gets
has Wesley
involved in an
Crusher.
ambitious group of students who do something wrong. Isn't that? It's The First Duty, right? That's the name of that episode, where they try to perform the Culvert Starburst and it gets a cadet killed. If I'm remembering it if correctly, and if that's The Next Generation, then that's another good episode.
So Wil Wheaton gets a rap, but Wil Wheaton has done great. If you follow him on Twitter, he's funny. He's always got the wild hair going. I do too. I just don't have enough so you can see it. Then he's done the Big Bang Theory episodes where he just messes with Sheldon, just takes him out. And then he had a science fiction talk show that was so irreverent and hilarious, and he knows everybody.
He's a true Star Trek fan.
He is a great guy to watch. So if you're giving him a rap, he didn't write The Next Generation. So, but anyway, we were looking at this Picard, and I asked Steve about the episodes because if you'll look here in the beginning, I can't tell if I'm showing it. we're at the Vineyard. And everybody knows, I'm sure, and if you don't, we'll tell you, that Picard's coming out on
TV series.
CBS, right? Isn't it a streaming service type thing?
It's a streaming service. I don't remember exactly where.
But
and I don't know how canon this is. I don't know whether this is connected to the show. Flipping through this, I noticed one thing that jumps right out, which is that this is not the J.J. Abrams universe. This is the Next Generation.
I'm going to show you some little pieces of art here, and then I'm going to call it quits.
Look at that. Are those alternate covers?
I think they're just
pinups.
Yeah, I think that sort of thing. So, Picard, hope. You gotta hope. So, it's funny you mentioned the one that had the vineyard in it, which I mean, it makes sense. I'm gonna do a little Conan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look through that.
It's hilarious. I love Conan, Robert E. Howard. I'm not the type that has a problem with Elsbreg de Camp. I'm Lynn Carter. They don't bother me at all.
They also
it's
were
another way
huge
of doing
fans.
the stories.
It's Conan in the future.
I love this. I
Conan
love Savage
2099.
Avengers, where he's with what? Elektra, Punisher.
But this is him set forward in time.
Even from there, I mean, you know.
It brought a big smile to my face
Oh,
when you
Wolverine.
mentioned the What If episode where he's transported to 1970s New York.
Wasn't that a
It
great?
was such a fantastic
Didn't True
issue.
Believers read
They did.
that?
They reprinted.
Yeah.
You could get it for $1. What it was? The Marvel used to have an alternate reality comic book series called What If, and they did one called What If Conan the Barbarian Walked the Earth Today, and it's great, absolutely great, touching, wonderful,
And it was
smart.
the woman he meets. They go to a museum.
A cab
right?
driver.
Yeah, she's a cab driver.
She's a cab driver,
and then he's just out there and
it's set during a historic massive blackout in New York City. And it concludes at the Guggenheim. It concludes at the Guggenheim Museum, which is really, it's a really weird space. It looks like something that would come out of a fantasy movie.
So now we're going to get in one that you know much better than I do, and I'm going to have to tell you.
Books a Million, right? It was dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's normally was probably $19.99. Was it? Well, I got it for $9.97. Hopefully, we can do this without too much glare. There's a couple of these out now. I mean, the color is, look at this.
It's a big omnibus collection of some highlights from when the Conan franchise was owned by Dark Horse. So you've got a mix of writers and artists and a mix of stories. And I got it when Dark Horse brought this volume out. And I got it then. I got it from them. And now Marvel just put it as part of their Epic collection. And this place had it for, what was it, $10?
Oh, this is volume 2, so I'll hunt down volume 1. Even if I paid full price for volume 1, between the two of them, I'll save some money. So, I mean, I won't.
A terrific anthology. Just terrific.
So, now, we
Books.
move away. I go to books.
Boring old books.
It's just a terrible, it's a terrible affliction, but we're not the only ones who have it.
And
Passions of the Mind.
I took a lot of comfort today because I feel terrible when I get books because I get books in the mail. And I took a lot of comfort today because this place is floor to rafter books. I don't know if you've ever seen his library tours. He has even less justification for getting books than I do. So I felt, for a minute, I felt like I'm not the most diseased person in the truck.
So we have A.S. Byatt, Passions of the Mind, Selected Writings, Turtle Bay Books, The Division of Random House, New York, 1992. Book jacket could be in better shape, but it's the essays. I'm going to throw some out here, and I know you've read them.
It's her book reviews. It's the book reviews that she did for the TLS, the London Review, whoever. It's her applying my side of the street, where because like I've said, every writer gets this opportunity. Where suddenly you have an easy opportunity to make $450. You're going to pass that up for a book you read anyway?
So under the section, The Female Voice, An Honorable Escape, Georgette Heyer.
Oh, yeah, her Georgette Heyer essay is so good. It's so good.
See, I just have to throw it out there.
It set the literary world on its edge because A.S. Byatt wrote Possession. A.S. Byatt is a steeply intellectual, brilliant writer. And here she is praising the mother of Regency romances. Nobody knew what to do about it. Because you can't condescend to Georgette Heyer's Regency romances anymore if A.S. Byatt likes them.
Sanders used one of her books for And their classes, military classes.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders?
No,
So-
Sandhurst.
Oh.
And he has really only had water today.
Because Sarah Huckabee Sanders just yesterday, said that Donald Trump reads more than anyone she's ever met.
Which is probably true. I'm just saying.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it. It actually could be true. That would be really scary.
So to make your point, we have Accurate Letters, Formatic Ford. We have George Eliot, The Celebration, and Eliot's Essays.
The Eliot essays are so
We
good.
have William Golding, Darkness. We have Elizabeth Bowen, Will and Catherine, Barbara Pym. So we have Toni Morrison's Beloved, which is familiar, since you brought the library a copy.
I brought the library bags of books. That was so much
my
fun
library.
to do.
They're gonna watch me come in and they just think this is the way life is now. So we move
I
right
figured it was
on.
the least I can do because they're giving me a statue. On the front lawn, it's going to be, I think we agreed.
It says park here.
I think we agreed it's going to be 1/3 larger than life. I'm going to be wearing a
It's
tasteful
going to be-
toga, striking
No.
a heroic pose, and I will be surrounded by beagles. It's since they're doing that for me in Carrara marble, that's not cheap.
No.
I figured the least I could do is bring a few bags.
You
of
just
books.
keep bringing the books and we'll keep making the promises. So this one here makes me think of the channel Ernestly Eston. He's done a lot of Albert Schweitzer. I'm a big fan. Maybe not. I liked his book on Paul. I liked his 2-volume set on Bach. I have.
Ernestly Eston wrote a book on Paul.
No, Schweitzer. Ernest Eston does read him, however. And you know what? That's a wonderful thing to have somebody reading Schweitzer.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Albert Schweitzer was on an episode. This is really turning TV, and I'm like the most non-TV guy in the world. He was on an episode of Young Indiana Jones. Remember that show? Does anybody remember that?
I do, yes.
I
remember
love
Young
that
Indiana
show.
Jones.
Remember that? Go to the jazz bar. Oh my gosh, that was great. And this is really getting out of hand. I have had a beer.
He was also in Star Trek. Albert Schweitzer.
Oh, I thought Ernest Eston.
He played the Klingon captain in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That's totally false. By the way, in fact,
I didn't know
there's-
what to say.
There's an interesting bit of trivia associated with that. The Klingon captain at the beginning of Star Trek: The Motion Picture is played by Mark Leonard, who is
Yes.
the only actor who has ever played a human,
Sorry.
a Klingon, and a Vulcan.
So, getting back to Albert Schweitzer,
Yeah, get back to
this
Albert
is
Schweitzer.
what it's like here all the time. Until we talk about the chicken, and then I just shut up. This is Indian Thought and Its Development, Albert Schweitzer, from 1930s maybe? When was
I
this
think it's
from?
absolutely great that our little corner of BookTube has grown to the point where we can know
Actually
somebody
mention
who
somebody
knows
who's-
this. Where you can find a book like this at a book sale and think about somebody you've never met in real life and think, oh, that goes right along with what we know about. That is just awesome.
In this case, so I met Ernest Eston
You met
at the
Ernest
Strand
Eston.
and New York. He walked us around. That was really kind of him. So he is doing. I'm one video behind on Ernest Eston. If you don't know his channel, you need to find it. He is on the second volume of, what is it, Quorum Chronicles by Michael Moorcock?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yes, I have not seen the second one. I've been so busy.
His
So
channel's a lot better than that Jason Harrigan person.
Who?
Jason Harrigan.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
He's got a head like this.
Oh, the book
the
measuring
big
guy.
head, yes. That's how people know him.
That was right. We love Jason here.
Just take what you're seeing now, basically two people who read a lot but are still managing to be 8 years old, and picture 5 hours from now this plus a lot of wine.
By then, we'll think that Ernest Eston lives in Ireland.
Yeah.
Jason is the one talking about Michael Moore. No, we'll have it all messed up.
Jason was a Enterprise captain. He came after Picard. But
If that guy, I tell you what, I've seen, if Jason wore a red shirt, he'd look at you and say, I'm the only one still left. He's a big, tough guy, I'm just telling you. Okay, the musical, yeah, we gotta be careful. He might come back here. What are you talking about? And what is it? Archers use 3 fingers? Yeah. And Argencourt, I'm talking history, come on. Okay, so moving right along, the Music Lovers Library, some musicians from former days, or of former days, Shakespeare, his music and song by Romain Rolland.
What?
Yes, have you ever heard of that?
No. What on earth?
And A.H.
What is this
Moncure
series? Music
Sim.
Lovers Library?
Yes, and the nice thing about this is was signed by. I don't know this for a fact. It's a school library, Chester, which is Chester, Vermont. I'm assuming, which is down the road. 1931. A lot of times, students would get a prize book.
Yeah, Jason has shown presentation copies.
And I'm wondering, and
gift
maybe
copies.
Jason would know. This has a picture of a little piece of with Sir Walter Scott. London, the Waverley Book Company.
God. Show the frontispiece.
Jason will
Look at
know what
that.
it's in, I'm sure.
That is wild. Did you found that today?
I found that today.
I clearly wasn't paying attention. Well, I had the bean with me, and that was distracting me. So, but I didn't notice this thing.
Yeah, so it's something a little different.
Although, don't listen to him when he says it's just up the road. Everybody here says that, and then you're driving for 30 minutes. And the Vermonter is saying, "Oh, you know this road, right? You recognize that tree stump? I remember when that
I
was
actually did that to him. He's been on the road like 15 times.
It's trees. Everything up here is trees. What am I supposed to do? Say, oh yeah, that deciduous
We go around the
pine.
corner and there's a dog in a doghouse. He goes, "Oh, I know where we're at." Yeah. Okay.
We saw some very cute babies today.
Yeah.
Very cute. Ooh.
It's a bit much.
My muscular teenager specifically told me before I came up here, don't do any of your weird dog stuff.
Teenagers, he doesn't listen to you or me or anybody else. Okay, then we have Roy Atkins, who you know, maybe not personally, well, you may, I don't know.
I do.
But,
He's the star of, what was it? That country music?
Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry,
That's
yes.
with a T. This was with a D. You don't have to. Adkins, not Atkins.
Oh. Well, I guess he's good too.
A couple books to his name. He's doing better than me. Okay, Nelson's Trafalgar, the battle that changed the world. Because what I need is one more Trafalgar
You should
book.
see the section up there. His Nelsonian section, just unbelievable. And it would be 3 times that big if you rearrange things and put the fiction.
Oh, then it'd be nice.
The Napoleonic Age of Sail fiction along with all the nonfiction. It'd be half a bookcase.
I tell you what, Jason with his thing about the land battles.
Yeah, he's big on the land battles.
He
yes.
knows more about that than I'll ever know.
You know, in the land battles, the cannon ordnance was there's about the size of his head. You haven't seen his
I
channel.
wonder if
I know.
international rules of measurement.
Once again, we should stress this is without wine.
And this is like the biggest guy on BookTube we're picking on because he's in Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is it got to cost? It got to cost a fortune to come here, so we could be safe forever.
Yeah.
Or not.
And he is safe from just random spur-of-the-moment gifts from America. Because, good Lord, that was a lesson today. It's an arm and a leg to send something
That ain't right.
from America to Ireland.
That's not right.
There's got to be a way that we don't know. There's got to be a way, some sort of seaborne freight or something like that.
You help me build a sailboat, I'll get him some boat. But you won't help me build a sailboat. Next one. This is a modern library. We had gone to the Woodstock Library and saw a wall of them at one
Last time.
And we only bought a
Halloween,
few,
at Halloween.
which is never a good idea.
It's never a good idea. Don't ever do that. If you go to some used book sale and you see a whole bunch of great things, don't say, well, these are all great, but I'll take this one, and then I'll take this one, and then leave. You're going to regret it. Don't do that. Take them all.
You know who doesn't do that? Todd's Bursting Bookshelf.
No, Todd.
I don't believe he's ever gone to a book sale and left a book there.
He's never done No. He would have taken
I looked
them all.
around. Yeah, there's books everywhere.
We both, our eyes both bugged out when we saw those. I got a couple. I think you got a couple.
Yeah.
But neither one of us got them all.
But I got this one today.
He went back. He went back and got some.
So those of you who know what this is, King Solomon's Mines and She's, 2 of H. Rider Haggard's greatest novels. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't either. We're going to use the word great elastically here. Rider Haggard's not exactly a prose
I've
style.
actually called Star Trek novelizations
Right,
great.
right.
So
Me too. I know.
I don't
right.
make my life as a work as a critic. I'm,
You'd want, in critical terms, you'd want to put some sort of qualification around that great.
There's no quality in here. Come on.
But
this is fun stuff.
it's
Don't
fun
take
stuff.
it too
It's
serious.
absolutely fun stuff. What I wouldn't give for somebody like Ballantyne or Del Rey or whatever to come out with richly illustrated editions of all of his great novels. That
So
would be
I could
so
put it
much
right
fun.
next to my Kipling.
Well, right next to the remember the Conans that they did.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Bloody
you get
Crown
my,
of
you get
Conan,
my
and all
point
that
is
sort of
that
stuff.
he's probably not the most.
Yeah. Something like that deserves to be in a really fun edition.
Yeah.
That would bring it. And she who must be obeyed, that has had many beautiful illustrated editions that I've had from time to time. She is even a Penguin Classic, which I don't think King Solomon's Mine is.
Did Frazetta, any of them ever do she?
Oh man, well I don't think Frazetta, but probably people right in this time
Vale,
period
maybe
in
something
the
like that.
1930s. I'm sure that there were many.
Well, you would think that was in reprint during the 60s and 70s.
It's if I'd seen something like that, I would have been tempted. But I know that I want illustrated editions of those novels, and I know they're out there. So I'm just
I saw a Conan recently somewhere that I almost snagged. Black, leathery looking on a desk in a
a gift from Ireland.
Then another one here. I've got all the Patrick O'Brien except for a couple. And unfortunately, I don't have the first volume of these two. This is The Unknown Shore in one of these nice Norton editions. I love these. I love the paperback Norton editions.
It's not an OBrien Matra novel.
No. The two of them go. The other one is The Golden Ocean, and then this one's The Unknown Shore. They go together.
It's kind of odd that you would see this one and not that one.
Well, I went through every shelf because I thought.
Just assume that they would be together.
So somebody may have grabbed her. It's in a box somewhere, and I don't go up there enough. But I'd like to get this, and I'd like to get. Was it Dean King did a biography of Patrick O'Brien before a lot? He sort of broke some of the news about how odd Patrick O'Brien was.
Dean King.
Dean King, yeah. Who did I say?
Who played Superman on Lois and Clark. No, he's a firm Trump supporter.
Yep.
I think
Was
that's
he
what we're
on
talking about.
Was he on Next Generation?
No.
Well, he should have been.
No.
So anyway, Dean King was the guy who edited the what were they? The classics. He did stories that
Heart of Oak.
Classics.
Yes,
Heart of Oak
yes.
Classics.
Boy, oh boy, there's an example of something I wish I'd kept.
And he did Skeletons in Sahara.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah.
The Heart of Oak series was this series of beautiful trade paperbacks.
Everything from
Rich,
Tom
textured
Kringle's
covers.
log to Marriott.
Yeah, Marriott. They reprinted Marriott. Bless their hearts.
Somebody should. Some of the most best-selling novels in the world at one time.
And so good. They're so good.
Mr. Midshipman Easy.
Captain Marriott never wrote a bad book, and he's not even in print now.
He served under. Want to get it back to Star Trek? He
Picard?
served. No, real Star Trek. He served under Cochrane, who is the basis not only for Horatio Hornblower,
But for Jim Kirk.
Aubrey, but for Jim Kirk. That tells you. You need to read a biography of Lord Cochrane. There's plenty around.
The Heart of Oak did his novel.
Yes, they did.
In
They
addition
did.
to all his fiction, they did
Yeah.
that. Oh, they did James Fenimore Cooper, Wing and Wing.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other stuff. All nautical fiction.
Yeah.
I had them all at one point, and I got rid of them.
So I'm going to find this. I'm going to find those biographies I'm talking about. He did a Picasso he wrote a biography about Picasso, who we knew. And then he did, this should have it in front here. One I don't know. Well, he did the book on Joseph Banks.
Yeah.
But I think Folio Society has a new edition of that out. That actually gets interest. But I never read the one Testimonies. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've seen it. I've never read it.
Oh, okay. And then they have Rendezvous and Other Stories, a collection of his short stories, which I do have. So great find here. And then we're going to get a little nostalgic. Back in the day, he looked at me when I bought this like, you are ill.
I don't quite know. I didn't at first. I thought, why on earth would you get something like this? But looking through it, I can see now. It's old friends. It's 1,000 reminders. It's you're going to recognize it. Some of you are going to recognize it.
this. There is absolutely no reason on earth for me to get this except for it's going to be fun, and it was $2.
Yeah. Those
It's in good shape
are
for an
two
old
of the
book,
best
like-
reasons in the world. It's going to be fun, and it's $2. But it's just a gigantic compendium of.
The Reader's Catalog, an essential source for book buyers. Access is to over 40,000 of the best books in print. Well, that seems like nothing now, right?
It used to be invaluable at bookstores. At the bookstores where I worked, we had the multi-volume books in print, but that was everything. That was absolutely everything. And this is not. This is the stuff that most 99% of your customers are going to come in asking for anyway. Look at that. See, now I understand.
So no matter what your interest is, oh, that's a terrible page. How dare they? Oh, that's charming. So we have 20th Century Histories and Studies. That's a little broad, isn't it? Socialists, Communists, and Radicals.
Wow, look at all that stuff.
Class in America.
I
Look
forgot
at
that they had spot illustrations. So this was $2 well spent. I looked askance at it at first, but it was...
Oh, no, you did more than askance. I think you were getting ready to call for help.
Probably the next time I see a dollar copy of this at the Prattle, I will do the same thing. I will just grab it because
It's a part of book history.
it's
It was
a part
a
of
big
book history.
deal.
Yes.
Remember Murderers, Inc.? Another one I'm looking for. It's great. You know, sometimes it's just fun to look at old things again. Murderers, Inc. was good,
thank
though.
you.
He's 28. He always acts like he's so old.
Do you hear that? Is that coming through only? What on earth?
Beans and kielbasa.
No, no, but that hasn't happened yet. It's some sort of temporal
That-
anomaly. We're
that
going
sounds like an
backwards in
explosion.
time. What was that? This is your state. You're supposed to know.
I feel really uninformed.
Good
That
Lord.
was a loud,
That was
thunderous.
awful loud. It was a prolonged roll. We should
I
check
wonder
on the
if it-
rooster. Make sure he's okay.
No, I'm hoping that jet just hit him or something. I don't know what it was. So, to finish things off, for my birthday, I forgot to get something to open this with.
Happy to help.
She'll kill me. Have somebody going for a sword?
He has a package. He got a package in the mail. Rubbing it in because I'm not getting packages while I'm here. Happy to help.
Oh, you can't help it. You're like a professional at this. I'm going to look inept. You know why? Because I am inept.
You're,
There.
oh.
This is your Gom Jabbar. Oh!
Happy to help.
To lose an eye on BookTube would be awesome. I'm just going to rip this apart because I'm a violent.
He's making the mistake that amateur package openers always make. They open with their fingers. What you're supposed to do is hook with your finger and open with the whole strength of your arm. That will do it. There's no package that will sustain that.
If this is embarrassing, I'm going to be embarrassed.
Says the guy who just held up half an hour of comic books.
I should be embarrassed. That doesn't sound right. Okay, who is the sadistic person who did this? It's taped on the inside of the box. Oh, I bet it has a bookmark. And it's from W.W. Clover Press. Do you know what
I
this
know
is?
what it is. I just saw it through the package. Oh my. Talk about hours of idle fun. Oh man.
Story of my life. I'm a librarian.
Somebody was very careful with this thing.
I need scissors.
No, you don't.
No, you're not. Like scissors. Can you give me scissors? No.
It's
You can't get good help these days except for when they buy you things.
oh
I know
man,
what
that
this
is a good choice.
Whoa. I just realized what I was doing. This thing is almost impossible to open. Ugh. I'm exhausted.
I do 10 of these in a video. It's practice. You've seen this already on my channel.
He's strong and he can open packages. Put him out in the woods, you never find him again. On a road.
You don't know
with
this road?
signs.
Well, that's the same tree stump we
This
passed
is-
9 years ago.
This is IDW. This is John Byrne collection of Star Trek.
Look at that. Incredible.
Given to me by my beloved wife. That's who got it for me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
John Byrne, he's an artist and writer. He's responsible. The X-Men. He wrote the X-Men at the height of their power. He wrote the Fantastic Four. A whole bunch of other stuff. He was given the job of redoing Superman after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And he's a big Star Trek fan. And IDW approached him to do Star Trek. And I did not know. I had no idea. Mark's wife said she got the inspiration for this from something she saw on my channel. But when I saw the package, I thought, I don't recognize any of that. That can't be. But wow, here it is. Boy, oh boy. This was such a good volume.
This is nice. Look at the size of him. He's just a beast. Well, thank you.
Wow, look at that.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man.
Today is a good day to die. I just read that.
But we're going to be saying that in earnest in about 5 hours.
No, we're saying that in the morning.
It's in the morning. Yes, in the morning.
Today is a good day to die.
Man, oh man.
Wow. Well, thank you very. More and more. That's crazy. I got to show you the last one. I shouldn't overdo this. I don't want to get in trouble. But... Well, that sort of tops it all off.
That tops it off. What a gift.
So I am 31 today, so I'm the senior member here. Today's not my birthday.
And the DVDs are too far away. Let's just call it up on Netflix.
The clicker.
Couldn't get over that. Cracked up when he said it.
Couldn't get the clicker.
I said, you have all those collections. They're just sitting there. Oh, they're
Well,
all
it's
way
easy to
over
find.
there.
It's easy to find a clicker in my house. You look in the cushions, because I suppose that's where you store them when you're a child. So we had a good day. I'm not going to pile all this stuff up. We had great fun. This show will be coming to you for about a week.
We redeemed the Goodwill. We're both disappointed in the Goodwill. Our first
It
book
was
for
not a Vermont Goodwill.
It was not a Vermont Goodwill, but it was disappointing by any standards. And that was redeemed
Although
today.
wonderful people.
Wonderful people, yeah. But,
It's not their.
but the whole point of book shopping is to get a stack of books that you don't need. And we both did that.
And in my Newberry Comics, the one thing I will say about absolutely may not be as many comics as I want, but they usually get what I want.
You mentioned they're really attentive,
They're
really
very
nice.
attentive, very nice. They say hello when you walk in.
Look at this, though. Oh,
Isn't that
my.
something?
Very nice.
Yeah.
This is all of John Byrne. He didn't stick with one storyline or one time period. He just bounced all around. So there's a 4-issue miniseries just about Dr. McCoy in the interval between the end of the classic show and the start of Star Trek: The Next the motion picture, where McCoy is off doing something. And he has, that's unrecorded time. There's Gary 7 from the original
It
series.
was a great novelization with Gary 7.
Well, I wouldn't know. You showed a Star Trek novel called Death Count on your channel, and when I said that I wanted to read it, you said it'll be waiting for you when you came up here. Haven't
Problem
seen it.
is, you gotta find it, and it's on a dirt road in a box. in the West.
Probably the rooster has it.
The subtitle is Nesting. So yeah, this is wonderful.
Man, oh man.
Yep, this is good stuff. So thank you, BookTube, and we will be back.
Yes, indeed.
Goodbye.